All right. Well, we will move on. People not so sure about it. Say something. Tell me your thoughts on it. All right. Now, while you think about that, today, Mr. Bob, I was called by somebody in St. George. Okay, St. George South, actually. And they said to me, Marcia, I want you to take a look at, they said to me, look at your phone. And I looked at my phone and realized that it was a sign. It was a sign from planning and development. And it had on it, it says important notice. And it had a notice about Drax Hall. And so I want to show you what we discovered in Drax Hall today. Now, you must remember that I have an article here that I want to read for you, just to remind you. And I ask you, Dave, to put it up. It's in your WhatsApp. So while Dave is looking for it to put it up, the article says Barbados pauses acquisition of former slavery plantation owned by Tory MP. You remember that, Mr. Bob? You remember the whole episode?
Yes.
Okay. And this is an issue that while we're raising this here in election time, I think this is something that the Prime Minister, who is the Minister of Planning and Development, should really speak about this on the campaign platform. I really think so, because there's no parliament. And so this is a good time for her to address this. So Dave, can you go up a little bit for us? April 24th, and this was 2024, Barbados will halt the acquisition of a former slavery plantation belonging to a British conservative MP after locals said he should transfer land ownership to the state as a reparations gesture for historical wrongs. Multiple generations of people were enslaved at the 250-hectare Drax Hall plantation in St. George, Barbados, a Caribbean nation that received at least 600,000 Africans between 1627 and 1833. They were forcibly put to work in sugar plantations, earning fortunes for English owners such as the Drax family. The Drax Hall plantation has belonged to the family since the 17th century and is currently owned by Richard Drax, MP for South Dorset. Barbados government has been considering buying around 21 hectares of the Drax Hall plantation to build homes for low and middle income families, according to Prime Minister E.M.M.A. Right? But in a video on Tuesday, Motley, who has been at the forefront for calls for reparations globally, said that by law, Barbados has to pay for the land due to compulsory acquisition, etc., etc. And the point is there that I wouldn't bother to read all of it, is that she was forced to abandon the whole thing or to halt it, right? Because there were reparations activists outside of Barbados, actually in London and even in Jamaica, and they were actually protesting against Drax Hall being bought by the state. They didn't believe that the state should be buying any land from any plantation owner. And this is a very wealthy man, okay? Now, you're wondering, why am I telling you all of this in the middle of an election? Watch the video. Dave, can we play the video, please? Drax Hall. Hey, folks, so I am here in St. George. Why are we here in St. George? Are we here to look at this beautiful fruit? This is called a custard. It's called a custard apple. I thought it was mommy apple, but it's a custard apple tree. Anybody Has ever eaten custard apple before? Yeah, this is a custard apple tree, and we are looking at a huge land space here. Can anybody guess why we're here? This is very interesting, I tell you. The people are calling Mike on the move because, yes, if they find something that is happening unusual, they're calling us. They want to report it, especially because we don't have any proper controls, no auditor general, nobody. Okay, so we're here and just take a look. St. George, just St. George for you. That's where we are, and we're going to a special place. I am actually in the back of the line here, following the neighbors, and we are going to this special thing that is occurring here in St. George. And yeah, I love to show you all the greenery, and very beautiful. And you listen, you don't want to you can't imagine the breeze. It's beautiful. Very, very beautiful. All right. So we're coming up on it very, very soon. We're in St. George. So this is Mike on the Move in St. George. Okay. So I'm going to tell you where we are at. We are at Drax Hall Plantations. Drax Hall Plantations. And this is as far as your eye could see. This is Drax Hall Plantations. As far as your eye can see. Can you see it? Yeah. Drax Hall Plantation. All right. And it's just land, just, with bush. Nothing is happening with it. Now, if you remember, in 2023, there was a big international fiasco with this, where our government was planning to buy the land from Mr. Drax, remember? And there were demonstrations, protests in the UK. People were talking about this all over the world. And because of the international pressure, what has occurred is that our prime minister had to abandon the idea, okay? And because she wanted to purchase this land to put up houses, okay? Now, I want you to just take a look across here. This is the same Drax plantation. It's on both sides of the road. If you notice, this is plowed up, and it seems like they are going to be putting this land into agriculture. So on one side, there is, it's just land there with bush. But on this side, it seems plowed up. You could see the water there. All right, this is important to the story that we are going to be telling. Right? This is important. So if you look, you're going to see that. Look as far as you can see. So Drax is on both sides. Now look, this is the other side of the road. Okay? So one side of the road, you see a lot of bush. It's overgrown. But one can assume that this side of the road is just as fertile as the other side. That they would have been doing a lot of agriculture back in the day. The plantations, right, would have been here, because Barbados is known for producing large amounts of cane. In fact, we did a lot of agriculture, really. And so this side of it, nothing is happening over here. But again, on this side, and we're still going, we are still going. All of here is, we can see that the land is being, seem like it's being put in, um, you know, being prepared for agriculture. Very important to the story as we go towards, right? Now, the strange enough, on the light pole you're seeing Dwight Sutherland, along with Mia Motley's picture, as they are campaigning for the next election. So once again, over here, all bush. Okay, and you see how much of this land, this was, both sides were agricultural land. So I was talking as if I don't know, but the neighbors are telling me that this, both sides are agricultural land. Okay, wow, I love to see when the place is freshly, when the ground is freshly. Yeah, look at this soil. Look at this soil. Look at the soil. If the soil could tell us the story. Wow. I wonder what they're going to plant here. I have to ask the neighbors, um, who are staying away from me because they don't want to be in the camera, because everybody is so afraid. So we're at Drax Hall Plantation. So you're looking at Drax Hall Plantation. One side, it's on two sides of the road. It's huge. It is huge, and it's owned by Drax Hall, Mr. Drax Hall, who is in the UK. And when the Prime Minister in 2023 had said that she was going to purchase the land and purchase the land, there was an outcry internationally. All right. And so all of that had to cease. Remember? So you don't forget that. So here we're coming up. I want to still just show you, because I want to see a whole. I mean, this is almost an entire street. I don't know good measurements, so I don't know what to tell you how long it is. But I've been walking for a little bit. All of that. So this side, nothing is happening with this, overgrown, and over on this side, again, we're still looking at agricultural land. But look out there. I just love it. Doesn't it look great? I just love it. I just love it. I just love it. And it's all the way up there. And we probably get some good sweet potatoes. What do you think we could grow here? Imagine what can grow here. Wow. Wow. Okay. So that is happening here. Now, we're now moving on the other side. And look what we found. Look what we found, guys. Uh-oh. What is this? There's a car coming, so I have to get out the road. But tell me if you can read that. What is that telling us? That is telling us something. Let me step back. The car is gone now, so I'm going to step back. It says, can you read it? Yeah, it fills up the entire screen, so you should be able to read it. Very important. Important notice. A planning application has been submitted for the following development at this site. Subdivision of land from other lands of Drax Hall Plantation for residential purposes. Address of proposal, Drax Hall, Hope, St. George. Applicant's name, Drax Hall Plantation. Site area, 3 hectares. Application number is there. For more information on this proposal and to tell us what you think, visit www.townplanning.gov.bb. You can email, and you make sure you get the email, because I would love for you all to email to find out more about this. Now I want to show you the ground, that this is something that was freshly put up. You see that? Freshly put up. You see that? All right. Freshly, this is a fresh sign that has been put up. All right. Very important. Now, we have some questions. We have some questions that that I want you to think about it now. Duh, this happened so. I mean, who anybody knew that this was going on? If you ask the average Barbadian about what is happening, excuse me, hello, hi, can I have the phone? Thank you. I'm sorry about that, guys. If you ask the average Barbadian about what has happened to Drax Hall plantation and the idea of having it, and yes, and the idea of this being used, this plantation being bought by the government and put and being used for housing, we would say, oh, but that deal, that was no more because of the international pressure, right? There was a little local pressure, but it was really, I mean, they had people marching in the streets in London, and they were writing motley, and they were, if you check YouTube, you're going to see it all over YouTube, actually. Yeah, you're going to see it all over YouTube, right? So there's some questions, that need to be asked, because we haven't gotten any public update on this, right? So the government of Barbados, they had announced to acquire land at Drax Hall plantation in St. George, right? We know that. And we know that this land was historically linked. This land was historically linked to slavery, yes, and owned by descendants of plantation owners. And as I said earlier, this sparked major national and international controversy, backlash, especially from reparation advocates. And Miss Motley is a big reparation person. In fact, she travels around the world and she speaks about reparation. And so these reparation advocates, they questioned why Barbados should be paying compensation to descendants of enslavers. So as a result, Prime Minister Mia Motley publicly stated that the proposed acquisition was on pause. She said that she was going to put it on pause. After that announcement, the matter, we know, went quiet. Following, the matter went quiet. Yes, no public update was given about this land that I'm showing you here that is overgrown. And then on the other side, you see, as far as your eyes can see, this is Drax Hall Plantation, right? As far as your eye could see, you are seeing that side is being put into production, right? So there's no public update, right? No parliamentary statement, no clear explanation. But now in 2026, residents have discovered an important notice posted on the land. And we showed you that notice. We're going to go back down and show you the notice again, right? And that particular notice is saying that the land is now being subdivided, and that for residential purposes. So this is telling us that this part of houses will be put here. Houses will be put here. So you remember what happened with the Hope houses and the steel houses? So they are seeking to put houses here. So what I think people would want to know, what has been the arrangement with Mr. Drax Hall? With Mr. Drax, Mr. Drax, concerning this plantation property here that's linked with slavery. So we must now ask the government what happened after this so-called pause. After we had the pause, what happened? Was the land quietly purchased? These are questions that we want to know. We want to know, was the land quietly purchased? Was this land quietly purchased? Was there a private agreement? Was there a private agreement between the government and Mr. Drax? Did they move it out of public scrutiny and still went ahead, even though all those that the reparations advocates, they were saying absolutely not, you can't do that. This is all over the world. Go on YouTube and check it. We are in Barbados. We want the international press to know we are in Barbados, and we would have not known anything about this. It's not announced, right? It's not something that anybody know. Is compulsory acquisition now being pursued indirectly? Are they indirectly, is the government indirectly pursuing compulsory acquisition for this land? Or is a private plantation land being developed with government backing? Is Mr. Drax developing, the plantation owner, right? Is this land being developed with government backing without public disclosure? I'm telling you, it's a mystery, folks. We are here in Barbados and we know nothing about it. See, Barbadians are told that this project was paused. But today, subdivision is moving ahead, as we're showing you, right? Today, subdivision is moving ahead, right? And these are some of the issues that we are some of the questions that we have, because as far as the public was told, Prime Minister E.M.M.A told us that the project was paused. Ma'am, can you please let us know what is the status here? We want to know what is the status. Subdivision is moving ahead without explanation, without any consultation, without any transparency. And so this raises concerns, right? Especially when we remember the historical importance of Drax Hall, right? And when we think of Barbados' leadership role in seeking reparations, let's show you the sign again. Okay, so this is a sign that we're respectfully asking for clarification on this. Because the Prime Minister is who told us. She is the head of planning and development, and so we have to ask her. She is in charge of planning and development, and so a car is coming. We have to move there, so we have to ask her. But this is the actual notice, so you can take your time, take a screenshot of it. Can you hold this? Hold it.
So Dave, hold it right there, please.
Sure I can see it.
Dave,
right?
Dave.
Okay. And so here we're asking who will benefit from these subdivisions, right? Moral questions were raised internationally about this. Moral questions were raised internationally about this, especially from reparations activists, right? Strong public opposition occurred at the time. And so the big question, why was the public never updated? Why are citizens now discovering this land through a roadside sign instead of through Parliament? Yes? Why is the applicant still Drax Hall Plantation? I'm sure as you look at it, you can see that the applicant is Drax Hall Plantation. And if you can zoom in, can go in on that particular part. Who owns the land today? These are things that we want to know. Who will benefit from these subdivisions? Who approved this resurrection of this project? Who approved the resurrection of this project? Exactly who? And why now? Why is this being done now under a new Minister of Housing? We just had a new Minister of Housing, and all of a sudden we're seeing this, okay? as you know, housing, we have a real challenge with housing in Barbados. Okay, housing is an issue in Barbados. But the truth is that we believe that we're entitled to transparency. If the project was paused, we want to know, why was it reopened and why so quietly? We need to understand that. You see? And if you can show them on the other side, why is one side is being put into, seem to be put in agriculture, and good agricultural land is also going to be put into housing. We have a lot of questions. Silence is not accountability, right? Road signs, they are not governance. You put up a roadside is not governance. So we are calling on the minister, the prime minister, who is the minister over planning and development. We are asking for a full public explanation about this. This is very, very important. We know elections are coming up. And so this is something, Madam Prime Minister, who is also the Minister of Planning and Development, we are respectfully asking you to address this. Address this. You know, there are lots of speeches that are being given. Could you give us a press conference about this? Exactly what is happening at Drax Hall?
Yes, Mr. Bob and Dave, if you can just leave it there on the screen, let it pause. Go ahead, Mr. Bob.
The applicant's name is Drax Hall Plantation.
Mm-hmm.
International pressure caused the Prime Minister to put a halt on a proposal by her government to purchase the land. What we are saying here, and this had to come out of discussion, because once international pressure is placed on a person who is seeking global recognition, then that pause was supposed to protect her image. And they have found a roundabout way to deal with this situation here. So that all the conclusion I can come to. And if this is how they expect to govern Barbados after elections, we have to tell them no, that is not acceptable. If international pressure caused you to put a pause, and that was shown to the Barbadian people, why now a plantation that those persons who are calling for
Reparations.
reparations for their participation in slavery, why then are they now applying for this land to be changed into housing lots to give money to them? Is the same as paying them the money?
Correct, because it is going to be used for subdivision of land from other lands of Drax Hall for
Yes.
residential purposes. So there's so many questions here. You're so right, Mr. Bob. But let me let you continue, please.
I am saying that this is an insult to Barbadians' intelligence. So they have found a way to sidestep money being passed from the government to Drax Hall. Because when you subdivide land into lots, or if you place housing on the lots, that money comes to the owner. So they're not no they're not trying to say, oh, we're not paying any money. But the people of Barbados are then going to be asked to buy these lots or pay for these houses. That is such a deceitful, dirty move by whoever organized it, just to keep the pressure away from the global seeking person that we know. But this should not go quietly away. It is part of the governance that we are, and the transparency that we are calling for in this election. And we are not and this has put another damper on what we expect from our government.
Agree with you totally on that. And a lot of people, I'm telling you, this is a very serious issue because this occurred, guys. It's freshly done, and the neighbors are saying it only happened a couple days ago. This is why the parliament was
Dissolve.
dissolved. Thank you. While the parliament was dissolved, that this happened. This is not something that went to parliament. That Mr. Ralph Thorne could have some argument and discussion
Address it,
about it so that
yes.
we would know about it. Think, Barbados, think. I know this is not juicy and so on, but this is a very serious thing that has occurred. The dirt is still wet, and how they dug up to put this sign was just put down a couple days ago. It was not brought to Parliament. It was not brought to the public. And as Mr. Bob is saying, basically, she's doing the same thing that she told the international community that she'll take a pause on. She is carrying out the same thing in a different way. Okay, and that has become what we are accustomed to. Mr. Hines, are you ready to come in and let me know and comment on this? Yeah, hopefully. Good night, Adrian.
Good
How are
night,
you?
good night.
Hi, I'm good. I'm good, Marcia. Good night, Alwyn. Good night to the loyal opposition.
Good night, good night.
Yeah, I was listening all along. I heard you call my name, and that's where I'm at. Where I'm at. I was actually driving home, so I've been listening ever since then. So here I
Yeah.
am.
Yes. Well, we're talking. We're not gonna stay very long on this because we have to do some more research. But I thought that as soon as we heard about this, we wanted to bring it to the public's mind, and that you do your own research on this. Barbados, this is very sneaky. What's going on under the previous minister of housing? They halted this. They now have a new minister of housing, and
That
there's
no,
no parliament. There's no
no,
parliament.
there's the only person that has to address this is the prime minister or the attorney general. Nobody else exists.
Whoever has control of tongue and country planning, I think that's the prime minister.
Yes, nobody else. Because remember, Parliament has dissolved. Everybody looking. The only positions are maintained because of governance is the prime minister and the attorney general. So they have to explain this to us.
Well, apparently there are some articles in the Guardian that I'm going to pull up and try to educate myself on this. But um, I think Marcy is correct that this was done in the dark. Just reading something really quick here. What actually happened with the government in 2024 reports emerged that the Barbados government planned to purchase about 21 hectares of land from Richard Drax for a housing project, allegedly at market value, not as part of reparations. This is in the Guardian newspaper. Now, this sparked anger among some Bajans and reparation advocates who felt the government was effectively paying a descendant of slave owning ancestors for land that could be part of a reparation settlement. Prime Minister E.M.M.A paused the planned payout after public and campaigner backlash, saying she wanted further discussion with stakeholders. The pause suggests the issue wasn't dropped, but that the strategy shifted from an outright purchase at this stage. So that's where it's been left, and this is new. Um, yeah, something happened that we have not been informed about.
We have not been informed about, and I want Barbadians. Thank you, Adrian. I want Barbados. It's not juicy in your mind, but this is very important because there's no parliament. The parliament has been dissolved. This has not been brought to parliament. Okay, this has not been brought to parliament, Barbados. However, the soil is just right there at the posts of the sign. They're brand new soil put down. This that I have on here, and it's the last thing because we do have a whole expose to do on the steel houses. But I have a letter in my hand here, guys. There's a letter here, and this letter was is what was normally given to the neighbors. But in this particular case, this letter was dated September the 4th, 2023, right? And it says, Notice is hereby given that application has been made to the Director of Planning and Development by Drax Hall Plantation for planning permission in respect of submission of land from other lands of Drax Hall Plantation for residential purposes, right? But on this particular occasion, nothing has been sent. So this is the one that was this one, Adrian, and this was disbanded. This is one she halted, but nothing came to the neighbors. Those that have adjoining lands, they don't know anything about it. They just saw the erection of this notice. All right. So this is something we're gonna watch it. Watch it. And again, it's the same kind of attitude, the same mindset where, you know what, they just get up and they do what they want to do. Are we against housing? No, we're not against housing, not against low income and middle income housing, not against it at all. What we're talking about is transparency and accountability and the procedure and how things are done. And as Shirley says, something very sneaky is happening. Why is this being done when Parliament is dissolved? Okay. Why in integrity our Prime Minister didn't come back to the press and say this is how we're going to proceed? Is it because it's going to let her look very bad on the international scene? Any final comments before we go on to the steel houses?
No, I've said my piece and about this, and it comes down to the type of governance that we are expecting after this election.
Yes, yes. Couldn't say it better. Couldn't say it better. Mr. Any final comments, Adrian, before we go on to the steel houses? You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Historically significant lands being developed before the country fully settles the reparation question. That's something that we want to know about. Who benefits financially from developing the land tied to slavery wealth? Um, and as we see, the public has not been engaged because someone called you out to show you what was recently done. And why is it being treated as an ordinary real estate matter? You know, to many Barbadians, it feels like history being converted into profit again without a clear national conversation. You know, and this is the experience with this government, right? This is why I keep saying that we operating under Westminster is one of our biggest issues because all it takes is a narcissist like Mia Motley to gain control of the leadership of the country as she does currently does, and this is what will happen. The powers of that office are vast, and when you have someone who use all types of political and intimidatory practices to get what they want, this is the outcome. You know, this is not what we're used to. This type of governance where there's no transparency, there's no accountability. And the funny thing is that it's all legal because this is the power of the prime minister's office. Sad, and that's why people should really go to the polls this time around and get this woman out. She's not good for Barbados.
Yeah, very well said. Not good at all. Not good. Well, we're going to show you another reason why there is no way. When you see what is going to happen, what we're going to show you right now, Barbados. I know a lot of you, the Drax Hall thing probably went over your head a little bit. But this issue here, when you see this, is a reminder, folks, of why this government needs to be out of office. All right. So let's watch this right now. So I'm here in St. Philip, 6 Road, St. Philip. And we're looking at some
interesting things here on the ground, guys. Anybody can tell me what this is, right? The rain is coming down, and I just want to show you these things, okay? So here we are. You look, we're looking inside of a container. And what we're seeing here, guys, is the uh all the material here to build what we were told were steel houses. And this was in 2019. This was promised by this government that they are going to build. This is part of how they're going to build the 10 million um, houses. I mean, the 10,000 houses. My apologies. 10,000 houses. And this is supposed to be part of the framing of it. You see? The framing, and it is sitting here. It is sitting here. So $29 million were initially spent. $29 million was originally spent to build these houses. 29 million. And I know this has been shown at some point already on social media, but I wanted to show you that these houses came in, these frames came in from China. From China. And these frames have been sitting here for all of those years. All of those years. Look, as far as your eyes can see, and you see the containers, they came in these containers from China. And this is where your $29.08 million, it's just sitting here, and it's growing all kinds of bush is growing on top of it. Okay? The Auditor General report found that there was a $23 million overrun. So they bought all of these frames from China for $29 million. And they are claiming that there was a $23 million overrun, but only 100 houses in 2024, a little over 100 houses have been built. See, you see that? Look, that's the frame there. You could see the frame for a house, right? And they are sitting here, right? The initial project was $29 million of taxpayers' money that was spent. And here you have the, hello. Yes, good morning, good afternoon. How you doing? Okay, enjoying the breeze? Yeah, it's a little chilly today. Here
Sorry.
again, folks. It's what here. Let me come off of it so you can take a look. These are all frames that are sitting here, right? And this is going on for years. They've been sitting here. This $29 million spent of Barbadian tax money. Look, we have it sitting here. There is a tree growing on the inside of it. That's how long this material have been sitting here. Okay, there's actually a tree growing in it, and they told us that they spent $29 million, but there is a $23 million overrun, cost ballooning by over $23 million, and we still have not seen more than 100 houses coming out of this project. We now have grass growing in it. You can see it, right? This is our money. This is the taxpayers' money of this government, this Barbados government. They came in 2018, and we gave them a chance. They said all kinds of different things. COVID, they didn't get to build the houses. And okay, we gave them a second chance. But look, we're here in 2026. We're here in 2026, and look, this is your money, Barbados. Do you think that in any other country, a government that has wasted so much money, a government that has wasted so much money, should ever be allowed to get back in government? Think about it. Think, let's be rational. Forget about red and yellow. Any government. Look here. I want to give you a view from here. Okay, this is a whole street of it, and you see all those containers. Okay, that's there, and then all along that street. Okay, now let's look here again. We're continuing. This is taxpayers' money. Taxpayers' money. Look at this. Look at this. Sitting here from 2019. Yes, sitting here. We're supposed to get these steel houses, and the money was spent. The containers are here. They came in, right? The projected cost per housing was the initial average was 150,600 to roughly 216,000. It increased. The unit costs to produce the houses increased. This is your money here, folks. This is your money. As I said, this was shown at some point a couple years ago, but we're here again. This is your money. This is your money. All bush. All bush. This is it, guys. All bush. This is your money, and it's all bush here. There are bushes growing in your money. A waste of taxpayers' money. Complete waste of taxpayers' money. We're going to continue. It's a whole stretch, a whole street, right? Yes. A whole street. It's a whole street. Why, God? This is it, folks. This is what you voted for. This is what we voted for. Look, this is poor people are supposed to get housing. The tiger, that man Tiger could have gotten one of these houses. Look at this. That little man Tiger could have gotten one of these houses. Tiger, right? Or Mousy. There, he could have gotten one of these houses, you know. Look at this. Look at the condition. Folks, this is what we're dealing with here. As I said, we carried this for you and a picture. We had a picture that was going around online about this. We've never had a video, and we haven't had any reporting on this. We didn't do anything, and I didn't see anybody doing anything on it. So we wanted to show you part of why people are frustrated with this government. Look at this. Do you think that this is right? We're talking here $29.08 million spent. Do you think that this is right? Where are the houses? Why was there a cost overrun? Where a cost overrun to make 100 houses? We were supposed to get 10,000 houses. What has occurred? Somebody's got to tell us what's going on here. What's happening here? As far as your eye could see, I am telling you, bush and steel. Bush and steel. As far as your eyes could see, bush and steel. Bush and steel. as far as your eyes can see. Huh? As a taxpayer, this is this, and this is the government that wants, they want another, what, 3 4 years? They want another 4 years to do what? You've got to come and tell us about this money. We have to understand what has happened to this money. This is what we want you to come on the campaign trail and tell us about what has happened to this money. What has happened to this? This is what we want accountability for. You won't answer the questions from the Auditor General. So we, the citizens, are going to come, and this is what we're going to do. And I advise everybody, use your camera, use your phone, use your phone. We have got to stand up for ourselves. This is a pile of garbage piled up. Just thrown away. Just thrown away. Different pieces with numbers on it. Can you pick it up and show them like there are numbers on it, and it's just like thrown away. Thrown away. Yeah? Look at it. Look at this. Look at that. Look at it. Huh? You want to pick it up? Pick it up as you were picking it up. This is it. This is it. 29 point something million. Huh? Look at the condition of this thing. Look at that. Can't even move because they've been there so long. These are buried. These are buried underneath. They're buried underneath. They've been here for so long. This is not, there's nothing that is going to come of this. This is gone. Gone. We showed you the Hope houses, and now we're showing you this. This is gone, my people. I think we need to ask for this on the campaign. When they come to speak, they need to talk to us about this. This is what we want to know about. This is part of your record. Okay? And whichever government did this, right? So these were houses that they were supposed to fit together, right? Yeah, Chinese houses supposed to fit together. And look at them. Look at them. And there's more. There's an entire street here in 6 roads. You guys can come up here. Yeah. You see? Let me turn back here and just show them all along here. As I said, we've seen some pictures of this already online, but we are bringing to you the actual video of them. See? Again, this is a new set we're showing you. It's an entire street, and we're going to give you that perspective. Here again, growing. They're growing inside. Bush. This is on top. They're looking at on top. Bush. Over $29 million. $29 million. See, guys? The full street. I know you guys don't want to go on camera, but look, you seeing this, you're a Barbadian, and you're seeing this. What are you thinking?
so many people could have had houses to live in. So many people, and they're here laying down, wasting. Wow. I don't know what message that is. I don't understand the messaging. Don't care about our money. Don't care about us. What are you saying?
Vote them out.
My God. I know what I can do with $1 million. This is over $50 million here laying down. Cost overrun to 20. How many million? No.
They just need houses.
They need.
They need houses to live in. That's their pride. And they're all sitting here on a whole street. And the parks are all over the place.
Stores and containers.
They're all over the place. These are all done rusty. Plants growing and everything. It's awful.
This is bad, bad,
This is
bad,
really
bad.
bad.
Hard for people to watch these things rust. All down the street on the left. More
Marcia,
containers.
all the pieces all over, propping up doors. Propping up doors.
Hi.
Yeah, these are the steel houses. No, no. We just came, we saw this, and we were fascinated by it because I know this came from China. Yeah, for the houses.
Nature housing comes over regularly. What was it, Craig? What is it? You don't know. How long you been here? Days here? Oh, very good. We're looking at years here. I don't know.
So they're speaking to a guard that is put there to watch the containers. And so this is one street, and we're going on another street. No, we're going. This is a lot. We're going on another street. We're here. We've started another street, so we've turned on another street, and this again is what we're seeing. This is it. This is it. And I believe that Barbadians should ask for them to speak about this on the campaign trail as they come to us asking for another 4 or 5 years. I think that it is fair for Barbadians to ask them about this. Ask them about this. All the trees, you have an entire tree in the midst of it. Look, an entire tree growing up, folks. That's how long it's been there. Entire trees growing up. As I said, we're on another street. Yes, that's where it ends there. But on this side of the street, so on one side of the street, I just showed you that side of the street. I'm going to show you this other side. Now I want to show you the containers. Okay, so all over there, inside of there, if you can see, let me go high. Right, at containers. And then as you are walking along here, you are seeing containers. This is what came from China with um, the steel frames. And the sad thing about this is that there are so many Barbadians that need housing, so many pensioners, older people who are. See, I told you it's all over. This is a brand new section, so we're not keep showing you. We're not showing you section over sections. This is a brand new area. They came and they seem to have cut down some of the trees here. Do you think that this government, including of Dwight Sutherland, should be put back in office? Think about that. Where under the sun would that be? I wanted to show you the tree root, right? Growing inside of it. This is inside the steel frames, guys. Right? See, they cut it down and the tree is coming back up because of the rain. This is inside.
Also, the Chinese come and take over the water in the law.
Repeat?
Our former security, Chinese come and take over the water
And then leave. Okay? This is the situation here. Yes, we can drive back. We can drive out and meet.
Right.
Okay? So we want an accounting on this. We need an accounting on these steel houses. They came in these containers, $29 million worth. And the Auditor General report said that there was a cost overrun. It's cost overrun on what? Where the houses, 100 houses, have been completed. The cost overrun is $23 million. I think you have some questions to ask your leaders. There are questions that need to be asked. Bought them for $29 million, and there's a cost overrun now for 23 million, and we have 100 houses. Look, the things are just thrown down. There's no recovery of this. There's no recovery of it. Yeah? There's no recovery of this. Absolutely none. Containers, as far as your eye can see. Just containers. Lots and lots of containers. Ministry of Housing, containers. Containers. Containers, my God. Containers. As far as your eye can see. Just containers. Look. Some of the things are just sitting here. Look. They've just thrown them and made them into garbage. Just garbage. That's the money. We would like an accounting of this. Respectfully, please. On the campaign trail. Tell us about this. This is what we want. Put it in your shiny, your glossy, shiny A to Z that you have accomplished, and tell us about this. Rain is coming down, so, and we've come to the end of it anyway. I'm gonna sign off now. Okay, guys? Yeah. This is it. $29 million. Yes.
Well, folks, this is Mike on the Move. Those of you who might have joined, because I see new people have joined. What has occurred is someone called me and told me to come down to Six Roads to see this wastage that has happened. Can you share this live up for us, please? Can you please share it? And I just want to read something quickly before Adrian and Mr. Bab jump in, that a special audit was done in Barbados by the Auditor General when we actually had one, and it reveals significant cost overruns in a government project to import and construct prefabricated steel frame houses from China. I'm reading from the report, guys, with costs ballooning by over 23 million. So they bought the initial investment was 29 million $0.08 million, and then they claimed that there was a cost overrun of 23 million. Okay, so which is why we have 53 million dollars on there. Okay, you follow? All of that is wasted, and it is said that only 113 of the houses, the original right, only 113 of the houses were done. Okay, and yeah, but all of this material is sitting there. And this is under Minister Sutherland, and he's MP for St. George South. They have had 3 housing ministers. Dogood. Okay, so Dogood was first. Minister Dogood was first, then Sutherland, and then we now have the man in the city. If somebody could remind me of his name, in the city right now. Okay, yeah, but there are 3. All right. So let's just hear your comment. Who's gonna go first?
I can.
Yeah.
Look, if we if this is something that we are going to ignore as voters in Barbados and give this government another chance, then we are people most ignorant. We don't care about the money that they take up and they waste. $60 million gone in housing. This is another $53 million. And I thought, Marcia, that the only metal dump that I can remember is in Keane Garden. But the government spent $53 million to create a metal dump. A metal dump that costs the taxpayers of this country an additional $23 million. That is scrap metal. That is what our money has been reduced to, a metal dump site. And nobody is saying, they are very clear on it. And you going up to where you have tomorrow with a manifesto on top of the other 2. I'm saying that this needs to be plastered over every social media page, because this election is about their stewardship, and this election is about their stewardship and why we should allow them to take the reins of government again. And here's a reason why they shouldn't be allowed to waste our money anymore. How you how many you count the containers?
I didn't actually.
I saw a dump street next to a container dump suite.
The dunks look really good.
But Marcy, but all jokes aside, but this is painful. How can they do this to Barbadians and take up our money and will come on a campaign trail to mislead us and to take our focus on the issues about partying and having entertainers? That is not going to replace that money. And when you hear, and if you hear them once, with the proposals from that Mr. Thorne, some of the proposals last night asking, and people are asking how you gonna run the country. You see that money that wasted, cut the wastage. If you had enough money when you came into office to pay your oats, if when you take a survey, a lay of the land when it came to VAT, that you were able to write off millions. If you look into the consolidated fund and you were able to take up 225 million and give to ghost companies, why are people asking questions or demanding to hear what is going to happen if you give these concessions to port? Barbadians need to come first at this point in time. There has been a lot of wastage and there are behavior true to form. If people remember Greenland, down where hundreds of millions of wasted up there, although they were told they cannot put a dump in Scotland and the Scotland district. And I want to hear Ms. Cantankerous come on the air at all during this election to curse people with another example of our government wasting taxpayers' money. If we don't stand up to this, something is wrong with our people. We have to be something we drank, got our heads turned up. This is painful. And the guard is employed to watch it too.
Yeah, a guard is employed to watch it.
Oh Lord.
Mhm.
Well,
We pay salaries.
So, Marcia, did I hear the one of the gentlemen with you say that the Chinese is come and take what they want?
yes.
Wow. So, because I was here looking at an article from 2024, December 19th, 2024, Barbados Today article, and there were mentions in there that there was issues of stealing, right? 'Cause some of the containers look like they were tampered with. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's just interesting to me. I don't understand. Maybe it's on the DLP's campaign agenda to bring up this subject because I don't understand why they haven't so far. Maybe they will. That this article that I'm looking at from December 2025, Barbados Today article, quoted Sutherland as saying, I encourage people to go to Six Roads and have a look and see now what is the state of Six Roads where we store the containers for those houses. It is a totally different state. We have utilized all of that material. This is 2024. Sullivan speaking to the media saying that they have utilized all the material. That's why I had to ask the question: is this the same Six Roads that he's talking about that we just saw the video of? And this man is on a campaign for re-election after telling such a blatant lie. Wow. I think, yeah, definitely this needs to be um, part of the campaign. You
Of
know,
course, of
uh,
course.
however they do it, I think they should do two. One, hold a meeting up there so people can see it and speak in detail about this wastage. And I think another one should be held in his constituency with the backdrop of this video on a large screen so people can see what this man has been doing in the Ministry of Housing, and this speaks to why he can't be a good representative. I mean, they didn't. I mean, they didn't use it, but why is the stuff scattered around like that? What were they attempting to do that it had to be out like that and scattered around like? I don't understand that. It was like that's to me. It looks like it was a blatant attempt to show contempt for somebody, the government, the ministry, for me, I don't know. It seems like whoever was responsible for that material and left it like that did it deliberately. I can't. I don't know. Somebody will have to explain to me why these things are sitting the way they are outside the containers and left in such a state. Granted, yes, you had problems with well, claim that you had problems with delayed shipment. You had problems with labor. You had problems getting the Chinese technicians to get here in a timely manner. Right? Let's say all those things are true. right? Let's say all those things are true. Why is the material out of the containers and scattered around like that? What is the argument there? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But yes, clearly the Barbados today has recorded this man as saying that they use all the materials at Six Roads. Today, January 30th, 2026, we just saw a video showing that that's not true. And I think that he should be held to account in his constituency and publicly. He should be tarred and feathers, as a matter of fact, for lying like that. And how dare he think that he could come back and be reelected after telling such a blatant public lie? I mean, something that was. I mean, if you're going to say that, didn't he have the intelligence to say, look, let me send somebody up there to make sure that at least partially of what I'm saying is true? Like, he must have been, I don't know, he must have been drunk or something when he made that statement, because I can't believe that somebody would lie about something so blatantly.